everyone, it's the fourth and final video of the Emily Awards for 2022. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking time to watch this series. I know it's a busy time of year, but I love putting these videos out around the holidays because it kind of becomes a form of a little tradition some might have, and it just makes sense for kind of an end of the year wrap up. Plus, you know about some things before Christmas rolls around, and maybe some of those best products turn into gifts. And for this video, I am wearing my festive shirt. I put rollers in, y'all, we're ready to go. So for the finale, it's kind of a hodgepodge of categories. It's sort of a nice way to wrap everything up because we can talk about some of the things that just weren't covered in the other 3 videos that lasted, what, a half hour or more each. So yeah, love doing the finale. Let's get started.
What's this? Mommy? Whoa, Mommy!
Oh, that looks good!
Mommy!
Yes, excellent work. So for the best brush, this was a pretty easy call. I feel like this has been one of my most used brushes of the entire year, and I feel like half the time I say the name of this wrong, or I list it differently in my description. It's just not like a name that logically rolls off the tongue, but this says e.l.f. Complexion Duo Brush. I know I've called it the Duo Complexion Brush a lot too, but basically e.l.f. did their take on that IT Cosmetics double-ended brush that's exactly like this. So you can get this one from e.l.f., and this is so multi-purpose, so this could blend in your liquid foundation, powder foundation if you wanted it to. This is a great little concealer side. Sometimes what I'll do is, like, let's say I use this whole side to blend in my foundation, which I did today, and then you pop on some concealer, you've swiped it on. I'll use the smaller side to like spread out that little dot of concealer and get it over a wider surface area and then dab with the larger part, and it's like the perfect blend. But if I'm not using a beauty blender to blend out my foundation, I'm pulling this in, or I'm usually pulling this in for some other reason. It's great for like getting around the nose, getting those inner corners. It's such a handy brush. The only downside is that it can't easily be stored in like a brush holder, so it's always just sitting out in a special spot, just sitting flat. Little skinny baskets are nice though for your double-ended brushes if you're looking for a way to kind of keep them together, keep them organized. But I absolutely love this one. I think it's a great deal. I would say the certain types of foundations that I wouldn't use this for, maybe my most full coverage stuff, I'd really want to use a sponge to blend that in, just because I think it gives the most natural finish, the most natural blend into the skin. But literally everything else, from your BB creams to the lightweight foundations, sort of a medium coverage foundation. Like I said, you can buff in powder foundations with this, or if you want to use this end to blend out like a cream contour or stamp in a cream blush, you could do that. So a really great, valuable brush in my collection.
I have to open up, see what's inside. Cool! It's so amazing!
Thank you for fixing my drawer.
I did my hamper.
It's a mommy tool. For the must-have tool, I was thinking and thinking, and then it totally dawned on me. What's the thing that completely transformed a number of loose powders for you and just your whole experience with loose powder? And it's one of these little powder puffs. And I really like these from Amazon that come in the 6-pack because they're even more pointed here. And see how they can reach that inner corner and you can just set all around. And I feel like brands like Laura Mercier that have been around for a long time, like they'll give you this big old powder puff with the powder. And yeah, that was nice, but I felt like it was never really practical, and I would hear of people like putting that on the under eye and using that big powder puff to press it in, but it wasn't really until this one came out from e.l.f. This was my catalyst, this Halo Glow powder puff. It's kind of harder to find, and it's pretty puffy. It did a great job. Obviously, it got me really into this technique, but once I got these little guys, I thought, oh, they're a little bit thinner. They're still super duper soft. They're velour, and they make the powder look so flawless. I swear they take even a small amount of powder and just do a more effective job of getting it worked into the skin than a brush does. So I have loved this. Talk about cheap, and just something that's made me go back to powders I didn't even think I liked that much. And then when I use them with this, I'm like, oh, okay, it really benefited from that very deliberate, very pressed in technique. And I feel like I was getting there as much as I could with powder brushes, because I was never really one to just take a large powder brush and just dust it all everywhere, you know? I was into using brushes, and I still use this to like set at the end, but this like Morphe under eye bullet brush, you know, it's pretty good about getting a tight little amount of powder put right where you want it, but these are truly the best. So good. So I will link to those below, as I will link to everything.
One purpose, two purposes. That's
Best dual purpose item, so easy. So easy for me to pick this one. The Persona sticks, the multi-sticks. I love these. I've talked about these in the face video, but I especially love the colors Kiss, which is your red, and then Jam, which is the berry. And they make the prettiest looks, the prettiest monochromatic looks on cheeks and then on the lips. I think what I really like is that they deliver equally well in both ways. Sometimes you'll get a multitasking product and it kind of goes cream to powder on the cheeks and it's really easy to blend in and apply, but then you put it on the lips and it's like, ugh, this is just dry. This doesn't feel like it was even meant for lips. They just threw that in the name. These are truly great on both levels, and I feel like they're easy to work into my cheeks. Maybe not quite as easy as the M Cosmetics So Soft sticks, but still, relatively speaking, it's not a chore. It doesn't take a lot of product to get it to show up, but then you swipe them on the lips and you got this full color, and it's very satisfying. And so the red again is Kiss and this is Jam, and those are my top two. There are a couple of other shades as well, but these are the best in my opinion. MVP hair or MVP cat hair? Okay, we've got some MVPs. I have an MVP category for hair. By the way, I am planning to do something on hot rollers. I've been trying different hot rollers in different price ranges, and I thought it would be great to do like an all-encompassing, like comprehensive guide to hot rollers. So that'll be coming. But a real great hair product for me, and a lot of you probably roll your eyes at this and be like, eh, this is just something you can pick up at the dollar store. Well, you know what? I love the dollar store, and it's the Suave Daily Clarifying Shampoo is what it's called. And if you have hair that tends to get oily fast, I feel like this extends that period. I don't get as oily as fast. I get my hair really, really clean every time I wash it. I probably wash it like 3 times a week. And I feel like this has helped it not turn around and just get super oily like the next day. It's allowed me to have some little gaps where I'm not having to wash my hair and the hair's still looking decent. Last time I washed this hair was the day before last. It's still going strong. It's not looking oily. So it's just a real classic shampoo. The smell is good. It's just kind of fresh. I mean, it's nothing like, whoa, but I love using it. It gets really, really sudsy, and then I'll like get it in my hair, get it all worked in, and I'll leave it for maybe a couple minutes while I remove my makeup in the shower or maybe do a body scrub or something. And then I rinse it and it's like whoosh, perfectly clean hair. I just think my hair is so fine. Buildup of product really does affect it. So I just need something that gets my hair super clean. And the more genuinely clean it is, the slower it is to get oily again after a shampoo. So that's just my top pick.
My body. Body.
My MVP for body this year, I really came into those Tree Hut scrubs in a big way. Definitely like over the summer, I remember getting all those like summery scents and just really falling in love with the line. These big tubs of scrub that you know, kind of reach in, you create a little scoop with your hand and you get some out, and the smells are just so incredibly accurate and good and strong and wow. And the scrubs are so super concentrated, so you work them into the skin and it's like, yeah, sometimes, you know, scrubs just give you a few little granules. These just really go there. And I have loved the one called Velvet Coffee. Oh, that's amazing. The pumpkin one was also like, those two that came out in the fall, like they slayed it. And if you can still get your hands on that little holiday trio that has the candy cane, the frosted cranberry, and the rose scent, that would be an amazing way to try things out. Look into the Tree Hut scrubs. I also do really like the Dr. Teal's scrubs, but just on the whole, I feel like Tree Hut has a much more expansive selection of scents.
MVP skincare.
My MVP for skincare, kind of like my MVP for hair, a real workhorse product, not my most glamorous product by any means, but something that really does work well for me, and it's my e.l.f. Holy Hydration Face Cream. So I've gone through, I think, 2 of these. I use this as my night cream every night. I use my Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair, and this is my all-over face cream. And when I've been dealing with my little dry patch here, if the dryness is sort of flaring up, I'll put Vaseline on that, or my Vanny Cream, which a lot of you guys told me about, but just all over the face every day. This I prefer over that IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Cream Anti-Aging Armor. I just feel like this is more gentle, and actually I feel like when I wake up the next morning, my skin just looks better. You can see this tub is most most of the way gone. This is the fragrance-free. It says with hyaluronic acid and peptide complex. I believe they make one that has an SPF in it if you want that type of texture in the morning. And it really is a rich texture. That's the thing. I've tried plenty of drugstore moisturizers that just feel like they're going on the skin, melting in immediately, not doing enough. This is a really nice feeling cream. It's rich. Once you get it blended in, you have kind of this rich balminess that you feel across your skin. It's really effective. And I like the eye cream too, and I like the lip mask also. So I'm a big believer in the Holy Hydration line. I would highly recommend that. If you wanted to use it as a morning cream, that's fine, but it just has kind of worked into my personal routine as a night cream, and I love it. Yes, I'd like to order an MVP for face, please. Now we're to the point where we're naming an MVP for face, eyes, and lips. So something out of all the other videos that was really the star student, you know, the big standout. So the MVP for face could have gone several directions here because there were just some outstanding products in that video and so many of them, but I started to hone in on most used. What has just been put on the face repeatedly this year, and I would have to give it up to the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Foundation. I mean, I have used and used and used this, and I think the reason why, it's a great middle of the road foundation. You know, it's a strong medium coverage. That's where I'd peg it. I am wearing that today. I applied it with that e.l.f. Duo Complexion or Complexion Duo brush all over. And I mean, I just always get a good result with this. I always get a pretty impressive result. I feel like a lot of people have realized over the past year just how special this foundation is. And yes, it does come in the dewy version. Dewy version is nice. The coverage is just going to be a little bit less with that. And even the matte isn't like a dry, dull, cakey matte. It's just a little more flawless looking. That's how I'd put it. And the staying power with this is spectacular too. Now, have I come into some other great foundations that I love? Absolutely. I like that CoverGirl Red Cap. So many other things I mentioned in my face video are great, but really kind of having a year in review approach to this question, this has had so much use. I love it so much. Its price point is unbeatable, and I feel like I could easily recommend this to a lot of people of a lot of different skin types, and they would enjoy it. So yay, Wet n Wild Photo Focus. You're just a little makeup troll? Where are your eyes?
Oh, I got my eye.
My MVP for eyes, if I'm thinking about an eye look and what is just the most irreplaceable step. For example, when I had my irritation and I was dealing with stuff around here and I wasn't wanting to do too much on my eyes, but you know what I definitely wouldn't skip? Mascara. And you know what mascara is the standard for all? Superhero. So I'm wearing it today. I'm actually like kind of scraping the sides of this tube. You know, we're in scrape mode where you're working the brush around because you know your tube's about empty, getting a little dry. But I love my Superhero so much. Thickening, lengthening, builds up quick. I gave the whole story in the eyes video, but this is definitely what I use, and I think, gosh, what a good experience. What a good curl hold throughout the day. That's really super important to me. So whereas I wouldn't put on eyeshadow and go without mascara, you know, I wouldn't put on eyeliner and go without mascara, but I could lose those other steps and only do this, and this would be the can't miss step, you know. So I've got that as part of my eye look today. I've got on a little Persona pencil liner, and I've got on, I'm testing out this new Tartelette Energy palette. I've done quite a few looks with this just in experimental mode. It's kind of fun. It's got a little more color variety than we're used to seeing in a Tarte palette. But anyway, It Cosmetics Superhero, that's my MVP for eyes. My MVP for lips, it's the same MVP as last year, but I mean, this stuff has gone just as hard, if not harder this year for me. Like, I've used it even more. My Revlon Color Stay lip liners, and I don't think I even mentioned last time, I'm not sure I even knew about the shade Nude last year, but this is the nude lip liner everyone should have. It's a deep toasty nude and it works with so many lip colors. So Revlon Color Stay lip liner in nude. Specifically, I'd like to give that a pat on the back in this video as MVP for lips because I use the heck out of it. It's such a fun base too. If you're experimenting with different glosses that have maybe a little sheer quality, let's say you got a number of those Maybelline lifter glosses, put this on as your first step and see how much more brilliant those glosses look on top. Also, we talk about cleanup mode with these pencils and the fact that you could have a lipstick on and then you can just go outside your line a little bit and just work it in and make sure everything's nice and clean. Love the nude for that. I love mauve. I love chocolate. Today I am wearing the shade called Raisin. That is my overall lip color. It's kind kind of a rich, sort of brick red type shade. And I put on top of that my Glossier Cherry Balm.com, and it's bringing out even a little more red in the overall look. But just get you some Revlon Color Stay lip liners. The formula is so good. They're more long wearing than anything else, but yet they're easy to apply. There's not like a terrible drag across the lips. They're retractable. And I just love them. I love their full coverage color. I love how glosses and lipsticks and the shiny stuff can wear down, but what you've put underneath that foundation you've laid with a Revlon Color Stay lip liner will continue to wear all day long. So love those. And then I have a last little category here for like top look of the year. I think I introduced this last year, the thought of just a video I did that I really liked, or just a look that really was memorable for me. And I've had several that I loved. I loved the way my best makeup at the dollar store turned out. Like, that was a great look. But my favorite look of the year was my full face under $25. I mean, yeah, you heard that right. Full face under $25. I feel like it should have been viral. Like, that's a big deal to get your full look. And I didn't feel like it was a look where at the end it seemed like we cut a bunch of corners. It looked very complete and very put together. Full face under $25 in this day and age where the prices at the drugstore are skyrocketing with every new release. It's like you're going to be paying over $10 for this foundation or that bronzer or that concealer, and it's just ridiculous. But we really reined it in, came up with some great products, and it truly was a full face under 25, and that I feel like was one of my best videos of the year. Have we noticed how I've lost a little volume? The curl has fallen just a bit throughout this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the awards this year. Sometimes I think about back when I did like 7 videos a week, or I did some really extravagant intros, and I think like, gosh, times change, you know, life changes. I try to be really consistent here on my channel, but my life, you know, with kids growing up, getting into activities, doing all these things, my environment, my people, my family changes. And I'm not going to beat myself up about not maybe doing things exactly the same way I always did. I actually enjoyed it more probably having the little appearances by people throughout the entire video. I will probably continue to do that. But ultimately, the core of the Emily Awards is the content, the info I'm delivering about the products and the thought that I've put into it that you don't see, and the testing that you don't see. And that's something I will never ever skimp on, you know. So sometimes if I have to sacrifice some of the, you know, silliness and fun of the intros maybe in order to have enough time to fully put myself into the figuring out of the winners, like that's what I need to do. That's what will never waver with these. I do have a knowledge that people take these videos seriously. They may buy something throughout an entire year, go back and refer to these videos, buy something based on a recommendation I'd made. I do not take that lightly. And that's where the bulk of the time goes, is figuring out what will be the favorite of the year, you know? So thank you all so much for your kindness, your love, your support. I'm sending some love back to you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for making the Emily Awards a part of your holiday season. I'm very, very honored for that, and I will see you guys again very soon. I love you. Bye.